Hey everyone, this is Bridget, and today we're going to be talking about future forecasting or predictions. Is it helping or hindering your life? First of all, we're going to be going into the idea of why we're even attracted to it, why we want to click on what's going to happen in 2019 or when this solar flare is going to change the whole world. What is the underlying thing? Well, one, drama, but primarily it's because of certainty. In this world, things are uncertain. We don't know the direction that things are going to go. If the oceans are going to die within the next 6 years, or if aliens are going to land and there's going to be full open contact within 10. We don't know. No one knows. And so what we seek in this traction to the predictions is a certainty. Now, I just said that no one really knows. And why does no one know? Because it's based on our own energy. So we have to move into the idea of parallel timelines and everything happening simultaneously to capture the full encompassment of what I'm talking about. So you and what you believe, what you emanate, what you act on determines your reality, determines your timeline, determines your future. And your future then fully dictates how that reflects to you in the reality mirror. So this idea of someone being able to predict what's going to happen for the world is only based on their own understanding, their own belief systems, their own frequency that's coming through to then be able to say or have a picture, have seen of what's going to come. So you determine your own future, you determine your own reality. And when we realize this and when we grasp this, we take back our power. And we have our power then to make the decisions in this moment for the good of us and the good of all, the good of our human future. So there's two reasons why people possibly are putting this out. One is views, because again, people are attracted to this, so they get a lot of views. The other might be to alter and create false timelines. So these predictions actually put people on a trajectory of that timeline if the people buy into it, if the people bite. If they believe it, it will actually send them on that timeline because they've given their power, they've given their energy to that future. Now, it might not happen exactly like that, but it'll generally move them into that trajectory of going in that direction. So a way to look at it is guidance versus self-empowerment tools. Is the person guiding you or telling you what to think, telling you what to believe, or are they giving you tools that then you can use to have your own empowerment? So that's one of the ways that I personally like to discern so that I'm not jumping on anyone else's train. Now, the thing is the trains can be helpful and motivating. So this is the flip side of this whole conversation, because you can use something like December 21st, 2012 as a super powerful marker to get your act together. You could use the fall of 2016 as something that is ominous and scary or something, again, motivating. So when you hear these, now that you have this kind of awareness, when you hear these types of things, you can spin them to your benefit. So the idea is if we're going to inevitably hear these things and what's going to happen or what's predicted or when's open contact or disclosure coming, those kinds of things. But we can use those markers as empowerment to decide what we want to do with those timelines. So I'll give you an example of this. This whole conversation, this whole video came from conversations that I've had with my dad and Patrick. Now, that's an interesting thing. These conversations, these insights come through communication with multiple people. Humans think in groups. We're better at channeling and bringing things through in that way so that it has balanced perspective. So I want to give them credit to this. It's just coming through me right now. But for instance, the fall of 2016 prediction by a certain channeler was something very powerful, and in the spiritual community it was like, oh, what's gonna happen? Like, is the whole economy gonna crash? Is the new system gonna be put in place? What's gonna happen? It felt like something was coming. Literally just by someone saying it, it created this whole ripple, this whole wave, say, in the spiritual community. So, a few different ways of looking at it. One, Patrick, he stopped in the middle of listening to that and he's like, I gotta go get to work. I only have 2 years until this happens and I need to be on my game. And so he worked his butt off and used it as like a motivating thing to become more of himself. My dad, on the other hand, at the time he was kind of saddened by the system, and he was like, great, this is perfect, it's all laying out and the system's gonna crumble and then we can put into place the new one. So in a way, he kind of sat back, and he of course still did his work, personal work and such, but he sat back, and it created a bit of complacency to where when the fall of 2016 happened, and not that much happened, I mean, Trump happened, but it wasn't like a fundamental core infrastructural change to our consciousness and the world, he was pissed. He was pissed. Because one, he had kind of wasted, or he had put his cards, he had gone all in on this certain prediction or this certain belief system that didn't come to pass. And how many times have you heard these things that don't end up coming to pass, by the way? And so from then on, he took back his power, and he's like, that's why we're having the conversation about doing this video, is he's like, oh, I have to do it. I have to do the work, and I'm the one making the change to shift the world. The biggest thing with this concept is giving our power to the external world, to the external reflection coming through someone's voice or coming through someone's channel. That is the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing, which is empowerment and looking to within for the answers, within for the internal guidance as to what to create, who to be, what to generate for the earth, for change. And it's true, we do like to give, our power up to the guru or to the savior. We like that idea. And it's a fundamental part of our human mythology, and especially indoctrination of different religions, to give our power up to something else, even if it is a prediction. But as I look back and I think from the time I was a kid, what was I when the Y2K 2000, I was 13, and I'm like, this just seems weird. It feels like fear-mongering, and then nothing ended up happening except the onset of the internet and great things. And December 21st, I did feel a fundamental energetic shift, and those set the energetic templates that then I feel are being manifest into physical reality right now. So there are these things that are happening, absolutely. And things like astrology, for instance, it's an energy current, it's momentum. So one of the things that I am able to do is see. So I have clairvoyance, and I can see into the future. So this is kind of ironic, me making this video, but I'm using me as an example as a seer to share that when we are seeing or perceiving the future is now. When we break down the time-space continuum, it's happening now. So we can perceive anything we want from the past into the future right now. And this is where it gets kind of cool and at the same time dicey, because I have had full, visceral, seeing, clairvoyance, every part of my extrasensory perception perceive full open contact with extraterrestrials. Now, that could be 15 years in the future. That could be tomorrow. That could be never. It's something I perceived at that moment. And that's all that I know. So one of the things that happens when we are empathic and we feel and we sense these things coming, whether it's through yourself or through someone else, we were given these soul template downloads of what was to happen in this life. This is an extraordinary time on Earth. And we feel that things are happening. And we've also been given the encodements of what is going to happen so that we have the motivation to withstand these challenges and to truly make it through the whole transformation, because we need a little bit of, a carrot to go for. And so we might perceive and sense these things also as closer than they are because we're empathic and we're feeling everything now. But that might not happen in the physical reality. The physical reality takes more time sometimes. But that's what I've felt, I've learned, because I've seen these timelines, I've seen the future in so many different ways, but it takes time to unfold, as well as it takes the complete trust and alignment of the timing in which it unfolds, and it takes the complete action in which we need to take to make it happen and be the person that makes those timelines. So there are absolutely general momentums that are quite obvious. When I'm working with clients or something, it's obvious the trajectory that's happening because of the actions taken, the behavior, the energetics. You can sense that. But as far as what is a big demarcation for the whole collective, and even a big demarcation for an individual person, they might make a shift tomorrow and it could be completely void, like a intuitive reading about the future. So it's very important to just tune into those things. And when it comes to astrology, I wanted to touch on that for a minute. These are fundamental energetic encodements, again, from the celestial bodies that do have an influence on us. But it's an influence. It's not a complete mark of what exactly is going to happen. So, for instance, the eclipse and such like that. Who knows how you specifically are going to react to it? You know, one person could be down on the ground, like exhausted and having a hellish time, when the other person is feeling completely invigorated and alive. So these certain cosmological events, as well as certain like Mercury retrograde, everyone's like scared and doesn't talk to anyone or doesn't do anything for like 2 months. These are opportunities to be more aware. And there are also opportunities to pivot and to maybe take a new approach, or to go within and take more self-inquiry into how to approach it in a more conscious way, to be more aware. So it's actually just ushering in the ability for more awareness, the ability to tune into ourselves even more, and the ability to really show ourselves that we determine what we choose. So I definitely go with, Patrick just did a great video on cycles. I go with the cycles of the moon. I go with the cycles of the year, but I don't let it dictate it. I don't let it dictate me. I let my own soul usher that excitement of what I'm meant to do next, while always taking into consideration the greater energies at play. So the next time you hear about a solar flare gonna take out the grid, or this certain alignment that's gonna like change the earth, just tune into yourself and do everything in your possible power to move forward with integrity, with right action, and from your soul towards the future that you choose. And really clarifying the future that you want is very important, because we're often indoctrinated and programmed to a certain future. That's what's always ushering energetically happening in a certain direction. So clarifying the future you want, really laying that out so that you know what actions to take towards that, is very important. Sounds like a good video. I'll do that. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thanks so much for watching. It's just important. We need to check ourselves. We need to check each other, check the community, and really stay on target to know that we determine our futures. And together, as we determine our futures as empowered, then we can determine the future as an empowered, amazing whole, and move together as one breathing, living being. So thank you so much for watching. Comment below if you've been hacked by future predictions, or use them to motivate you. If you have anything that would help the community, help each other, I'm interested to see, to hear. Check me out on Instagram and Facebook. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell button so you get notifications of my new videos, and I'll see you next week with another video.